What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton, cycling, and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video is a little different than what I normally do, and I am a little scared. So I'm going to be trying to dye one of my Lululemon bras. So for some context, the bra in question is this black Free to Be Serene bra. I've had it for about 2.5 years, and up until very recently, this was like one of my favorite bras. I was wearing it probably at least once, most likely twice a week, like since I've got it. We can be conservative and estimate that I've worn it probably around 100 times in the past 2.5 years. Honestly, could be more, but we'll say 100 times. Definitely has gotten a ton of use. But lately, it has really been getting grody. This is almost embarrassing to like show on YouTube, but this is what an armpit looks like, and the other armpit also looks like this. I assume it's like a mix of deodorant and sweat, and then like it not being washed quickly enough or well enough. I'm honestly not sure exactly how this happened. If you know, like, please let me know. It's also strange because it's happening on, I have a long line version of this Free to Be Serene black bra, and it is happening on that bra too, but it hasn't gotten to the point of this bra because this bra I just wear so much more. So if this works out, I would love to re-dye some of my other bras, but I figured we need a sacrificial penguin. I need to try it once just on one piece and see how it turns out. So the idea is I got black RIT dye, and I am literally just gonna follow the instructions and try to dye this, and I really don't know how it'll turn out. I would hope that it'll just turn everything black, but I feel like you're still gonna be able to see like this whiteness peek through. But if I can get it into like any better shape than it is, I will consider this a win. Like right now, I don't want to wear this outside of my house with good reason. And I normally don't work out with a shirt on. So I figure I might as well try to fix it. And if I can't fix it, then I guess I could just wear it like when I do wear sports bras under clothes, but that is pretty infrequent. And I got this idea because I do follow like the subreddit Lululemon, and people occasionally dye Lululemon clothes on there, and they don't usually provide that much information. They're just kind of like, yeah, I used RIT dye. It turned out perfect. Like I never see anything that is a fail, which maybe RIT dye is just really dummy proof, or maybe they're just way better at dyeing things and like dye more things. I've never tried to dye a piece of clothing that wasn't like tie-dye. So I am very novice at this. So basically I just went to the craft store and I looked up like what fabric dye I should get. RIT does seem to be the most popular to use for like Lululemon / exercise clothing. And this bra, according to the Lululemon website, is mostly nylon. There are quite a few instructions on this bottle, so hopefully if I just follow all of them, all will be well. But it does say that if you have fabrics containing more than 35% polyester, acrylic, or acetate, to instead use RIT Dymore synthetic fiber dye. But this is like 90% nylon. So this does appear to be the right dye, just the color black, and there isn't a ton of things you need to do to prepare. You need to pre-wash the fabric. So yeah, this has been washed. And then you mix 4 ounces of this bottle with 3 gallons of the hottest water safe for fabric, which I am slightly concerned about. On the website, this does say to wash with cold water, and it says this isn't recommended for fabrics that are labeled cold water wash, but there's not like another solution. So I hope that it'll be fine. And I also don't know how hot of water like this bra can withstand. I would think like fairly hot. I also have an old bucket that I'll be doing this whole project in, and I'm a little concerned about how hot that can get. My idea is just to heat up water on the stove and don't get it quite to boiling. Boiling is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and it says on this bottle that the water temperature should at least be 140 degrees Fahrenheit for like best results. So somewhere between pretty hot and boiling is like where I want to get. And then I think that I'm only going to use 1.5 gallons of water because this bra is fairly small. They say that you need to have enough like liquid that the clothing can move easily through the water. But I think that 1.5 gallons of water will be fine for this. And then I can use 2 ounces of this bottle. This bottle is 8 ounces. So like there is some room for error if I need to re-dye. And then there's also like an entire list of different things you should mix in depending on the fabric. So like you mix in salt if you have cotton, for example. But it says for nylon, you should be adding a cup of vinegar into your dye mixture. I'll use a 1/2 cup in my dyeing situation because I'm halving everything. And vinegar is kind of, you know, a broad category. So I Googled it. It said to use white vinegar. So that's what I'll be using. That's just what the Google result returns. So hopefully that's fine. And then it also says to add a teaspoon of dish detergent. So I'll add 1/2 teaspoon. That's very, very small. And then it says to stir at least 30 minutes up to 60 minutes, dependent on like how the garment looks, if it is the desired color. I think I'll know like pretty fast if this is working. I would prefer not to stir for 60 minutes, but you know, we'll have to see once the water is there and the bra is in the water. I am interested to see how this turns out. I would really love for it to turn out well. And then after that, you can wash in warm water with mild detergent by hand, or in your washing machine with an old towel. And I don't have an old towel here, so I will just try to wash it by hand, see what happens. Should be a fun experience. I was looking in my closet to see like what I could wear that I wouldn't care if it got any dye on it, and like preferably something black since I'm working with black dye. And I found my Peloton Sentry shirt, which I haven't worn in a very long time. So I was like, perfect, I can wear this. I really don't think that I'll get like a bunch of black dye on it. But now that I've talked to you for a very long time, gave you the whole game plan, let's just try and see what happens. It should be interesting. Fingers crossed. This project is mostly going to be done in the kitchen. I have my bucket here. There is like this like spinny part at the top that I can't get out. I tried to take it out, but I could not. So this is the bucket I'm using. And then I have my sports bra. I'm heating up the water behind me right now. I have the white wine vinegar measured out in a measuring cup, the Rit dye, and the dish soap. That should be everything I need. So once the water is hot, we'll make this concoction. And then I'm just gonna spin it with like this spoon, but I'm gonna use the other end. I think the dye shouldn't stain anything, but I don't care if I have to throw this away. It's just a plastic kitchen utensil. So let's heat up this water and then see how this dye job turns out. All right, in she goes. Let's get her down. 1.5 gallons is definitely a good amount. I'm glad I didn't do 3. And the water feels hot. I can feel the heat coming off of it. I guess I will kind of move this around for like 10-15 minutes and then we can inspect and see what it looks like. It's only been like 5 minutes and this is the armpit right here. I think it's looking really good. It's hard to tell because I feel like it always looks a little better when it's wet, but fingers crossed this is going to turn out well. The other thing I realized as I was stirring is I left the cups in this, and I don't want to take the cups out now because I will get dye everywhere. But yeah, definitely would take the cups out next time. It'll be interesting to see. I'm assuming they'll just also dye black, which is not the biggest deal. I just hope that it doesn't affect them negatively in any way. But yeah, we just continue to stir now. It's now been 30 minutes. Honestly, the lighting in here makes it look worse on camera. Like in person, it looks very, very black. And I've definitely gotten lazier with stirring, but I think I might just like leave it in here and just stir it once like every 10 minutes for another 30 minutes because I already have this concoction. So Might as well just leave it in as long as possible. I don't think anything bad can happen from leaving it in. It has been an hour now, so the next step is to take this out and rinse it under cool water until it's no longer black, or the water is no longer black coming out of it. So I'm gonna try to avoid touching it for as long as possible because I don't want to get this dye on my hands. So we'll see. I just quickly rinsed out the bucket I was using and then refilled it with water again because now I'm going to try to hand wash these. It looked pretty clear once I rinsed it for a little bit, not that long, only a couple minutes. So we'll see. This should be the final step before I just wait for it to dry. I added a little bit of liquid detergent and now I'm kind of just moving it around. I'm definitely not the expert on hand washing things, but I can see that the water is turning darker. So obviously I did not rinse it all out perfectly, but I think that's okay. And then I don't know how it picks up on the camera, but in real life, at least right now, I cannot see any of the white markings that I saw originally. So far, so good. So fingers crossed, this is going pretty well. I just like moved it around in the bucket and then rinsed it and then moved it around in the bucket again and rinsed it. And I took out the bra pads too so that I could really get in there, rinse those as well. They're looking a little funky, but this one really does not matter because no one will see it. And the bra itself looks really good, but it's also wet. We'll see when it dries. I am happy, like the Lululemon logo looks, you know, pretty intact, pretty good. So now I'm just going to hang dry this and I'll see you tomorrow for the final results. And I'm going to wear it to work out if it looks okay so that we can see, like, if I sweat in it, is it going to bleed dye all over me? Let's hope not. And I need to clean up this area a little bit. It wasn't as messy as I thought it was going to be. Like, there's not that much to clean up, but it did take longer than expected. It was an hour to just stir it, probably like 20 minutes of setup at the beginning, and then another like 30 minutes of like rinsing it by hand. Obviously, you could cut that down, but also just cleaning everything up as well. So if it turns out nicely, it'll still be worth it, but definitely a longer commitment than I thought. So let's hang dry these. I need to wipe down this area, but then I'll see you tomorrow when we get the final results. It is now the next morning and the bra is dry and it looks really good. I am pretty happy with how it turned out. It is very black. I didn't realize how faded at the beginning it was because it was faded all over, but now it's like a nice crisp black again. And I can slightly see where the white marks were before. I think that it actually like changed the fabric a little bit. It probably damaged the fabric because it's a little like crunchier in that area. But from afar, it looks good. And like, I have no problem wearing this outside, out and about. Like, nobody's going to notice it because it's near the armpit anyways. So I would consider this a win. I'm going to try this on now and do a sweaty workout. I'm going to go for a run. So that'll be the real test if like this dye is really in the bra and it's not going to get on me. And then in the future, I'm not going to wash this like with light colored clothing. I'm going to wash it with only blacks because I don't trust it going through the washing machine and like not leaking dye a little bit. But I'm pretty excited. So let's try this on and make sure that, you know, it didn't like shrink at all during the process. But I think we're in the clear. It looks good. It feels good. It definitely didn't shrink at all. Feels like it normally does. And yeah, I'm excited to work out, see how it holds up. I just finished my workout. I definitely sweat a lot. You can probably see some of the sweat marks, and I didn't see any dye transfer. Like, I don't see any on my skin. I'm very happy. I'm calling it a success. Definitely a longer process. And now like the only bad part is I kind of have to be more careful with what I wash this with. But besides that, I kind of saved my old sports bra because honestly, if this didn't work out, I probably would have just rebought the same exact one. So this was the way cheaper alternative. So yeah, catch me dyeing like all my black sports bras when they get gross. If you know why they get gross like that, please let me know. I would be very curious if I could just prevent it in the first place, but this seems like a pretty good solution. So that is it for this video. Let me know if there's like other DIY things you want me to try. I am definitely not a super big DIYer though, but this one turned out pretty well, so I'm feeling pretty good in my abilities, and maybe I'm ready to try something a little bit harder. I've also seen a lot of people dye white sports bras or other like light colored sport bras that get really gross from sweat a different color, but thankfully, fingers crossed, that hasn't happened to me with my light sports bras. It's only the black ones. It's very odd. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!